Welcome to Clueless Critics, where we critique, review, and analyze what we may not be qualified to criticize. I'm your host, Philemon, also known as Void, and I'm here joined by my co-host.
Kyle Guillory. Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, we were talking before the show started, and we started like getting into anime and stuff, and then my man was like, "Yo, dude, it's like 9 where I am and 10 where you are PM. We should just talk about this stuff on air." And then I was like, "You right? We do have a podcast." So,
Yeah. Every
uh
conversation we have is it
podcast
always
worthy.
it yeah, it leans in this direction, like something we could totally put on here.
Which is why I'm a genius for making him get on the podcast with me. Uh, but like for real, like low key, there's some conversations that we've had off air, just like planning and talking for like actual episodes that you guys won't hear because we weren't recording. But low key might be more fire than some of the episodes we've come out with, some of the ideas we put out. And I'm sorry, you're just not close friends with us.
Dang.
So,
Wow. Ouch.
but you can be through Patreon.
Oh,
Hey!
okay.
So
Uh,
yes, one of the big things we did this week is we have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/cluelesscritics, all
oh,
one word in that slash, boy, you can look at our page. You can help support the show. We got multiple tiers. One of the tiers is uh, we will critique one of you guys on our Discord that we're still setting up. We'll tell you guys probably on our own social media. We'll tell you guys when that's up and running. We're probably also gonna make
wait.
our own like
We'll
what?
critique them. So we'll like critique them as a person, or
I mean, if they pay enough. No, we're gonna critique your art.
yeah.
Obviously, we're not gonna critique like I might critique if you have dance stuff. I might help you with that.
Oh, that
If you need help with baseball, Fish might help you with that. If you
no,
catch him on a good day,
nope.
send him videos on
I
the
want to
Discord of
divorce
your form.
myself of that job, not continue it. Oh man.
If you're drawing baseball manga, maybe you can seduce him into looking at how you're drawing your character's form.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
has a
I
lot of experience there.
suppose so. That's different.
A just enough where he has enough expertise in both fields where you can get him to critique on multiple levels.
I do have expert teeth. You're right.
Best teeth in the game. Eat your heart out, Anthony Fantano. You got Kyle Guillory's coming for your spot.
What?
Best teeth in the game.
Best teeth. Yeah, far from them.
Uh, yeah, so yes, we'll be talking more about that later, possibly. I don't know if there's more we can talk about, but we'll talk. We'll try. Um,
I suppose we could
uh,
talk about. Yeah, later we could always talk about how people should just do it.
yes,
Yeah,
and how it's been an encouragement to us and such. But
yeah.
that's for later.
Later.
Um, Fish, what do you recommend for people, or what are you going to critique that you've watched?
Okay, so recommendations. A
Recommendation
little
or
bit
critique?
different.
This is
Yeah, yeah. So a little bit different this time. Instead of
okay.
recommending shows, because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really watched anything that I'd recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I recommend art, like a certain type of practice with art.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so recently I've been studying forms,
Mm,
and I realized how
excuse me.
important it is to do this. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
people tell you, "Oh, study your basics," and I just,
And you're like low key like, oh, I don't want to. I just want to draw things.
yeah. And
But
now I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know what? What if I just sit down
yeah,
and
mm-hmm.
learn how to render out basic forms? So your spheres, cubes, cylinders, and cones,
Mm-hmm.
right? And slowly make like merge shapes together, make it more complex, more
Yeah,
organic, you know, uh, yeah, and it's a natural progression in it, and it as long as you stay like within the means. Like it's not, it never really feels stressful. Like you're slowly
Hmm.
building up what you're comfortable with.
Your
Like,
confidence and your
yeah,
skill, yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, it at the very beginning, it was
Hmm.
difficult. Like almost 5 years ago, for me to even render a sphere. So I get that if someone's not comfortable doing it, period, like even that can be tough. But spending enough time on just those basic forms over time, it'll be natural, and how important those things are in helping you define or define forms of anything. I mean, it's just
Yeah, yeah.
it's super valuable. So it's
Uh, it reminds me of Dropbox. Kyle, you know Dropbox. I think
hmm
you might have been the one that recommended it to me, or somebody else
I
off
think
the
maybe
Church of Cynics
Peter.
Discord.
Yeah, I've never done it, but
I don't
probably
think it was
Peter.
Peter. I think it was no, it was I forgot his name, but my man from Canada that
Uh,
that was that we made a meme out of his face. Church of Cynics listeners, you know who I'm talking about. We made a meme of his face. It was like he made like a really good face and he made the OK sign with his hands. And he was really cool. He had glasses. He was like studying
oh,
like
oh,
art in
oh!
college.
I know who you're talking about. Buckshot.
Buckshot, my
I
man Buckshot.
I
If you're
don't
listening
know.
to this,
Yeah, I don't know his actual name. I need to check that out.
he sent me to Dropbox and he was like, "This is a great resource." And I went to the website and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is actually great." And it's a lot of that, except maybe even more basic. Like I just like for a while I was just practicing lines,
Right.
and like I could see in my pen work, like my line, at least straight line confidence got a lot better. Just drawing like straight up squares and like in like basically squares and rectangles in perspective. Uh, that so yes, I don't. Quick question for you, Fish.
hmm
When you do your form practice, is that all you do all day, or is it just like you set time aside for that and then you go into like trying to implement what you learned with form practice into your like drawing a figure or people or stuff?
Okay. So yeah, right now my only practice, like I said last time, my only practice is form stuff. Other than that,
Mm,
like I'm, I'm trying to work out designs and actual images. You know,
okay.
like like I still am applying that to these things, but
Hmm.
that is the only thing I'm working on in terms of a practice time. Like,
Okay.
but there have been a couple days where that's all I do,
Mm,
simply because as I'm doing it, I'm realizing that I can push it to a point where I can apply these weird abstract shapes
mm,
into my actual images. I
okay.
mean, yeah, it's just it's simple. Like I just really want to get that down so
Mm,
that um, I when I move on to something else, I'm confident that I've actually you know gained a certain level of skill that I feel is necessary to continue on. Like I don't want to just rush through everything now.
okay.
You know,
Um,
so
Man, I have so many things I would love to recommend. Um, that I could really get into. But you know what? I'll leave it at I'll leave one musical recommendation. Um, Everybody look up Monte Booker on SoundCloud. He's a producer out of Chicago. Monte space Booker. He has a playlist called Monty and Friends. He has a remix of Swang. He has a remix of Beyonce's one of Beyonce's songs and Justin Timberlake songs. His production is unique. He's worked, I believe, with Chance, Shmino, No Name, uh, uh, or No Name Gypsy, as she used to be called. Um, and I believe a few other artists. I really like his stuff. He I sort of feel like he might be the future of production or he is, because his just stuff is just unique. It's different, but it still gets you bouncing and stuff. There's that. I wish I could go more into it, but the one thing I really want to get into that I watched, um, yeah, okay, I'll leave Monte Booker as the recommendation. Dope. Um, Fish, do you want to talk about what you want to critique?
Oh, oh no.
Because I'll talk about what I want to critique later.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
you know what? Actually, you might have more of a medium critique, so I'll go first, real quick.
A meaty. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
because we can break down that dish for
Oh
like a
yeah.
good while.
Yeah.
Um, so I watched, and this is sort of topical. Blade Runner's coming out. I don't know if it's out now or it's coming out. It might be actually out, but before it came out, they had a prequel to the Blade Runner 2 stuff, like two, I believe, live action 30-minute shorts. And then there's an anime one that one of my friends linked me. Shout outs to my man Duo again, guy who has the fashion stuff. He sent me that, and I watched it. And I think the main director and maybe the guy who creates the character designs, if you any of you watch anime, you probably know about these two. Um, Creator of Samurai Champloo, and then also Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop, obviously anime like classic. Um, Probably one of the best openings in anime of all time. Like opening songs,
Hmm.
amazing. That that Let's Jam. Oh, Yoko Ono, the woman who made that. She's like a legend. I love her.
Wait. Wait. No. 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 Yoko Ono. You talking
Not
about?
Yoko, not Yoko Ono. I said Yoko Ono. Crap. I
Yeah.
sound
I was
low
about to
key
say.
messed up.
I was like
Oh
the
crap.
Beatles girlfriend.
Yeah, I was listening to some Beatles earlier today. It's bad. I got
Uh.
mixed up. Crap. What's her name? She's so good. But she's like a reoccurring like person that comes through on various tracks, and she's just like, I am the based god when it comes to music. I'm just good. um, but back
Is
to
it
that
the?
short.
Oh.
Huh? Go. Sorry.
Is it the same woman who produced a lot of the music on Ghost in the Shell openings?
Possibly. I'd have to look at her catalog.
Okay.
I would really have to look at her catalog, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. So the anime for this, the Ghost in the, like I say, Ghost in the Shell. Well, it does give you a bit of that Ghost in the Shell vibe, just because it's near future. It's like, I guess, near future or future. Like, um, what's that? What's it called? Something punk.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. There we go. Cyberpunk sort of feel, because it's freaking Blade Runner. But I will say this as an anime, probably one of the greatest depictions of like a black dude that doesn't feel like a stereotype. I will give it to Japan. There's like not a lot of that. A lot of times when you see a black person in Japanese
Dragon Ball.
anime,
Dragon Ball.
or just anime and manga in general, you can tell they haven't met them outside of like maybe seeing them on TV, or like they
Yeah.
don't have many friends, or like know people or look up to people who are in them. So like it's just a caricature of a black man. One of the main characters is actually a black man with like cool hair and stuff, and it's like cool. I listened to the dub version. I don't know if the Japanese sub would be better, but I
Hmm.
get it. They're replicants. They're robots. I could see if the delivery was calling for them to be a bit more calm and calculating, but even then, it just felt flat. Like there's a difference between calm, calculating, and just like no emotion at all. Especially when at certain scenes where like the character, like one of the characters is smiling, but his voice tone stays the same, like he's bored
No.
as crap.
Monotone.
Like yeah, like there's a difference between calm and monotone,
Right.
and that was my main critique. Like it sort of got me out of the whole thing when like the voice actors just like, yes, this is the da da da, and I'm just like, come on, dude, you're like you're literally doing backflips, mowing dudes down. Like what?
So is this on a service like Netflix,
It's on
Crunchyroll,
YouTube,
YouTube?
straight up free, dude. All of
Well,
them, even the live action shorts. Yeah, so
oh,
people can go just watch them.
oh wow, okay,
Gives you a bit of like idea of what happened in between Blade Runner and then Blade Runner 2, and what like it sort of preps you for the actual movie. So if you're planning on watching the movie or you've already watched the movie, I'd say if you haven't seen or heard of these, go look them up. So maybe it'll give you a greater context of what's going on in the movie. And evidently, I
okay.
heard Blade Runner 2 has been pretty good, at least from critics who've already like seen screenings and stuff. So I'm hype. Uh, One of my friends was telling me it's a beautiful, beautiful uh, design. Like the movie guy I was talking about, who might be a guest. Hint, hint. Uh,
Might be.
he was, you gotta tease him a little bit, bro.
Right.
uh, he was saying it's beautiful, and this one just it looks beautiful as well. Like I don't know if it was you that told me like a lot of like set designers and design people in art love just analyzing this movie.
Oh, concept artists in general.
Concept artists, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
So
it's known for visuals because of Sid Mead. Sid Mead is the guy who did all the designs for the
yeah,
original, and
and the
he's
color
like,
schemes that he chose, that orange.
yeah,
Mm,
he's the concept artist, world rock star type of guy.
mm. Okay, so look him up. Fisher, he has Fish's seal of approval.
Uh, I mean, everyone's, not just mine, but
But they're here for you, so
oh,
he has Fish's seal of approval.
oh dang, oh dang.
uh, Other than that, I would say it was cool. It was cool. It gave me very much a lot of Ghost in the Shell vibes, but cyberpunk anime Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is just a touching point. Like even for like cyberpunk in the West, so of course it's gonna have a similar vibe. Like duh. Um,
Right.
yeah. Other than that, yeah, I'm cool on that. How about you, bro?
Okay, before we go, can we just
Okay.
appreciate for a second
Mm.
how great um, interviews with uh, what's his name, the main character, the guy who played his Han Solo, and um,
You mean good old Harrison of the Ford,
right, his interviews are
Model T Ford.
amazing.
He gives me, even when he was young, he sort of gave me the I don't really care. Sort of like
Oh yeah,
I don't know. Like I was talking to my movie friend again, and his fiance was talking to me about like interviews with him, and he like I don't like he sort of gives off the vibe that like he doesn't view like acting in the same way as other actors do. Like
like it's something way above what everybody else does.
yeah, he's like Loki is like a lot of times he's just like it's a paycheck.
Yeah, it's like this is a job.
Yeah. Like some people are like this is my like life's work, and I get that, but Harrison Ford is so odd. Like he's a decent actor, but like his mindset's just like working class sort of like it's a job.
Right. Yeah. Which is, I mean, what it is. It's
I
yeah. Shouldn't
mean,
shouldn't put a job on a pedestal, dude.
true,
Honestly.
true. But sometimes it's a little odd for me for a person who doesn't really like. It sometimes feels like he doesn't really like it like that, you know?
Well, I mean,
You know? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't really. I'm not all about the mentality that people have in terms of attachment to celebrities, which is,
oh
you
no! I'm
know,
not saying attachment to celebrity. I'm talking about celebrities themselves. Who they talk about the stuff
yeah,
they like, them acting,
yeah,
like you know.
right, yeah. No, I'm saying it's still connected. Because not
Mm.
only do actors view it that way, but people do as well, just in general.
Oh yeah. Okay, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's called anyways, ass kissing. But yeah,
Excuse
so today I
me.
uh The Future Diary, or Mirai Nikki.
Oh,
So I had heard this. Is how I came across this was I was listening to a cover of one of these like anime opening songs by this guy named Pelek Official. But anyways, this guy's amazing. He sings fantastic. So
yeah, yeah.
in European band, he's in a Swedish band. But
Okay.
anyways, I was listening to one, and then I saw in the recommended videos Mirai Nikki's opening song, and I was like, okay, because it had him and then some
Excuse me.
like Japanese chick in the thumbnail. So I was like, oh, he's singing with someone else. I was like, oh, I wonder, if this person did like is one of the original singers, which of course she wasn't. It was just a
Hmm.
person he had doing the cover with him. And so I listened to it and I was like, man, this is amazing. I was like, holy crap, I want to see the show now. It's like I want to know where this came from, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the way, like, I don't know.
That's how they draw you in.
Yeah, that's how they draw you in. So anyways, I was like, all right,
Oh,
let me
this
let
the
me
the animation for this opening is great, and wow, this music is really getting my blood boiling. Like, man, this show must be lit. And then you watch it, and you're
well,
like,
I didn't see
oh,
yeah, I didn't see the animation. It was just them
mm,
singing in a studio.
mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm,
was just a song. Anyway, so
mm-hmm.
I look it up and I'm like, oh, okay, this show's out, and I check to see if it's on Crunchyroll. It's on Crunchyroll. I have Crunchyroll, so I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll go on Crunchyroll and watch it. So at first, I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. I went through like 18 episodes in one day. I was
Yeah, yeah.
just like
Binge
super
culture, dude.
binge, yeah. And then the
Yeah,
next day, I finished it.
yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
the
Ending is, as in the words of Glass Perfection, the anime reviewer, uh, the ending is paramount.
yes. So spoilers.
Mm,
Um,
yes,
this show.
but it's an old show. It's like from
Two
2006, so low key, it's like 10 years.
no, it's
It's
not.
old. It's 11
No,
years.
it's not from 2006.
Oh, the manga is. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, the show's from like 2013.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah. So the show involves multiple timelines, but you don't find this out until later in the show. And
Yeah.
my initial thought was I am never making a story with multiple timelines. And then of course you brought up, no man, Steins Gate. I was like, oh yeah.
Steins Gate.
I was like
Hashtag one of my favorite animes of all time.
I was like, oh yeah, Steins Gate does this perfectly, just amazing. But the problem with this show, I'm going to say the
Hmm.
English name because the Future Diary. All right.
Yeah,
The problem
yeah.
with this show, Future Diary, is that it's it's the way the time travel is presented is I think the problem is that it makes it so that multiple characters are able to travel through time,
Mm.
and it makes the whole world like super convoluted, and
At the last second.
at the last second when it's
Yeah.
the ending is supposed to be like this bittersweet ending.
Hmm.
Instead, it turns into, oh yeah, these people in this other timeline line are getting this great happy ending.
And it makes it so that by the end you're like, I don't even care now. Like
Yeah,
you're
I
so
don't.
confused. You're like, I can't even put the emotional weight. Like,
It just all went away. It all went
yeah.
away. Yeah,
Yep. 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 Yep.
and at the same time, because it's uh, the kind of story it is at the
Mm.
beginning. At the beginning, the characters in the show they're battling to become Deus Ex Machina, right? Machina. Okay, so which you explained to me is
Basically, whenever it's a literary device where basically they're saved by like happens the character who shouldn't in by all rights the way the writing is leading as them dying is like saved at the last second by like either this godlike character or like complete luck.
okay, and the so they're battling to become this. So
Hmm.
it's deciding from the start somebody's gonna be OP as shit.
Yeah,
Someone's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's gonna be God, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And and that's fine. But you know already at the beginning, man, this is gonna be one of those things where, all right, the world ends, and then there's just this character.
Yeah.
There's no resolution with character development. There's no uh, real resolution with the the main character and say the girl he was with, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
all just everyone's dead except him, and he's God now, so he creates a new world, and it leaves you with this like empty but like crappy empty feeling where it's like I don't.
Yeah.
This was not enjoyable.
It's not. It's very bittersweet.
Yeah, very like, but like bittersweet can be okay, but
Yes,
not this
but
kind.
like this is just bitter.
Yeah,
You're just like,
it's
what
yeah.
was? Oh, on top of being confused, you get to the end. If you do make it through that slog of confusion, you're like, so all of this was just so this nigga can just be floating here, sad, depressed.
It actually kind of reminded me of a little aside. Have you ever played a game called Dragon's Dogma?
Yo, I think that's probably. I'm so mad that other people have not stolen that idea of writing huge beasts like Colossus, like Shadow of Colossus, in an RPG because that was smart. I
Yeah,
was like, okay, two game mechanics. Just side note, two game mechanics from an RPG that other RPGs should just steal. I'm completely okay with it. This Nemesis system from Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, mix that with the Colossus slash Dragon's Dogma system of climbing bosses instead of
yeah.
chopping at their ankles. That's cool. I'm good with that. Combine
I
those two in a game.
I
Send me the
agree.
link. I'll play
I
it.
agree. So the reason I bring that game up is because just like this show, The Future Diary,
Okay.
in Dragon's Dogma at the end, you become God. Okay? And
Like regular one or Dark Arisen?
regular one. I
Okay.
never actually played Dark Arisen, so I wouldn't know
Okay.
how that goes. But yeah,
Okay.
you fight God, kill him, and then you
Yeah.
have a choice to either stab yourself and restart the game, which is the real
Oh.
only option to start new game plus,
Oh.
or
So New Game Plus starts off as like a reincarnation, basically.
right, it,
Oh wow.
or you sit there up at the top and observe the world.
Wow.
That's it. You're just like up in, I guess, heaven or
But
whatever.
you can't do anything else.
You I Yeah, I don't know if you can influence anything on the game. It's kind of
That's a
it's
crazy mechanic. That's cool though. I sort of like that.
it's interesting.
It's a
But it doesn't restart. It doesn't wipe the world like this show does. It doesn't
Yeah, so
kill
all your
everybody
so you'll
off.
be God, remembering all your past human relationships, looking down and be like, "There's my wife.
Yeah,
She's moving on,
yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
literally God." Just for whatever reason, I'm not coming back down like, "Hey, babe, I'm God now. You want to
Right.
be queen of like the world?" Like, do you know how much clout you got now, dog? Like, just come back like, "Hey, babe, I'm literally God. So
Oh,
if you could like be the be the Aphrodite to my Aries, and like we could just bang and make God children all day, I'm totally fine. Like
I'm
I
so
didn't just
glad you said that because
I didn't
that
I didn't
happens.
just fight a dragon so I wouldn't have no clout
Oh man,
by the end of this game.
it's so funny you say that, man. I the thing the thing that we think it could improve on in
Mm.
oh well, I think this story would have to just be kind of rethought, like how they choose to deal with the ending,
Mm.
with the whole timeline thing. But with what we said, when we talked about Steins Gate, another spoiler
Oh,
alert. Where you
I will
what?
say this. I will say this. I've also read Mirai Nikki back in
Mm-hmm.
2006. This was the manga that infamously started the whole Yandere craze, which is the crazy girl craze. So it's a bit infamous for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like if you're an anime, you know what Yandere or Yandere or whatever, however you want to pronounce it is. Basically, the trope is a girl that likes main character is legitimately clinically insane.
Yeah,
Um,
so she's gonna kill people.
yeah, it usually makes itself as killing people. Um, Which reminds me of another manga that took that trope and ran with it amazingly. There's a manga where you know harem manga, right?
Yeah.
There's a manga where all the girls in the dude's harem are yandere.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Uh,
He has like white hair.
Is it Higurashi no
Some I don't know.
Kuro no
I forgot. I just remember reading the manga and being like, "This is such an interesting twist on the harem,"
Okay. Um,
and being like, and like he eventually like things start to happen with like the dude's like family members, and then he like just basically realizes like, and he's a smart main character. He knows all of them like him. He's not like one of the regular main characters of a harem that's like,
okay,
I
no,
don't
never
know,
mind.
all these girls want to bag me, but they always rubbing their tits against my arm and
Oh,
shit.
okay, yeah, never mind. No,
Like,
the one I'm talking about straight like like crazy murder like
no,
horror anime.
no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. There's one where he's like he's a manga. So I don't know if it's been an anime yet, but dude has white hair, short, and he like knows every one of these girls wants to like bang him, but he also knows they're crazy, so he's like trying his best to like stay away from them. But
Right.
he's not like a punk. He's smart. He's smart, and he's like he holds himself up. He's one of those characters that's like just basically tired of their shit.
Right.
And one of his childhood friends is like a mass murderer, and he's like keeping her secret. So basically, it's so crazy. So basically, he like uses one that's like spot that like spies on him all the time, like with video cameras, and uses her as surveillance. He uses another one that thinks like she's like a delusional knight to like go take down this like murderer, and like she uses her and like the actual mass murderer best friend character to like basically kill the dude.
Hmm.
It's it is so interesting to read because
Wow.
he's just like, all right,
Do you
well, you
remember the
guys,
name?
no, I completely forgot.
Oh.
I completely, but it was such an interesting read. The art was pretty decent too. Um,
Well, I mean, you gotta. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out
but
the name of that one.
yeah,
We
maybe
can always
somebody
put it
will
in the
comment
description or
it.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, comment it or
Yeah.
something. But
But
I say all that to say that I read the manga, and the manga goes a bit further than the anime from what I've talked to Fish about,
mhm.
and it makes the timeline thing even more confusing because one of the timelines versions of like the main chick, or I think her name's Yuno or whatever,
Mhm.
like gets memories of like the previous world's crazy girl, but she's not crazy, so she just remembers that she loves this guy, and then like she has her god power, so she breaks through the dimensional barrier and brings him through, and you're just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
like, I don't know what the rules of this are anymore. Also, the art in that manga was bad. Like, if I was to critique it, like this boy needs to look at human anatomy.
Boy, well, if I'm going to critique you, you need to remember the name of this damn show or manga.
Mirai
Oh
Nikki, yeah,
no!
it's the
Wait,
same.
no,
Oh yeah.
no, the one you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I will. I'll look it up later and put it in the description box. They'll be fine. But I'm just saying, the anime does a lot better with its like whoever the animator was knows. Like I was looking at the animator versus the manga, and I'm like,
Wait, are you
nah.
talking about this other one? Or are you talking about?
Mirai, no, Mirai Nikki. I was talking about Mirai
Oh
Nikki. If I was to
man,
comment Mirai Nikki,
okay.
Mirai
This
Nikki's
this
art is
podcast
like,
is turning into different timelines. So like I'm getting
oh
confused. Sorry,
boy.
dude.
Okay, you're gonna do some different timeline crap,
Different
boy.
timelines. Yeah, dude. I got confused, man. You had me
Okay,
lost.
so the good thing I was talking about, harem with yandere girls, good, decent, liked it. Wish I remembered it so I could look it up. I'll look it up and probably finish reading it because it was still continuing back then.
Hmm.
Um, Mirai Nikki, manga, artist, bad.
You
Uh,
know, you say that. I looked at it. I never really. Okay, okay. I take that back. There's that one panel where I was like, okay, I agree with you. Perspective,
his
light
hands
perspective.
proportions were
Yeah,
horrible.
perspective, proportions, lighting, bad. But
Now imagine that the whole
overall,
manga when you reread it through.
I get it. But overall, it's enough to get the gist of what's going on. Like it's not
Yeah.
that. It's not like game breaking. You're not going to just not read the thing if it's interesting.
Oh, I read it through, yes, but like I was critiquing it about. I'm just like that was that I do art. I'm just like, oh god.
Right. Yeah, no, I get
Hmm.
that. But these
And
days,
sometimes his panels get confusing. I I will say, as I want to get in on this artist because he has another one. He has another manga called Big Order, which like a similar like sort of premise in a sense, where people have these very unique and special powers instead of like diaries or whatever. They have these powers that have very specific rules, and there's like basically it's the main character is a boy, and this girl wants to kill him, but she's not crazy. She just thinks that like he caused her parents' death. And so like it's very much like once again he's making a manga where you can sort of see the trajectory of the story. Where with Mirai Nikki you're like, okay, this kid's gonna become God unless there's like some huge plot twist or something. But I'm basically predicting that this kid's gonna be God by the end of this.
Well, you can
And
you
then this girl's gonna go crazy.
well the
And
thing
then
is with
go
it
ahead.
with it you know the ending. You
Yeah.
from the beginning, you know either he is or the girl's gonna kill him and become the god. Like
Yes.
because she's a nutcase. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much set in stone what's gonna happen. Like
Well,
it's
in
not
Big Order, it's
yeah.
similar. The main character hates his power, but his superpower is basically if you get into a square of like area around him, he can basically give you a command, and then you have to do it even if you hate it.
Hmm.
Um, so he one of his so the girl wants to kill him and so he hates using it. So he hasn't used it until the girl comes through and wants figures who he is and tries to kill him and he's like, you're not gonna kill me. And so basically he figures out like, I'm gonna make you follow me because the moment you get out of this you're gonna try to kill me again. So basically he has this girl who's like great at combat who secretly wants to kill him, who he's commanding to like fight for him because other people are noticing him and trying to use his power and use him as a chess pawn or whatever. So it's like I already like by the time if you read it, you're like, okay, by the end, the girl's gonna fall in love with him, but she's still gonna be tragically gonna kill him because of whatever plot contrivance that occurs.
All right.
like, like, and it's very similar. Like multiple people with very specialized power, some world shattering like thing is going to happen. Because one of the main characters as a kid, one of his main character's motivations was that he wanted to rule the world and
Right.
he wanted to be a bad guy, like because he thought bad guys were cool or whatever back when he was a kid, and then he like stopped wanting to be that, but now he's like dragged back into it. So I'm like, okay, so you're basically setting up like the whole like, wow, the world's gonna like be effed. And this girl is gonna slowly fall in love with him and kill him. Like I'm calling it right now. The manga isn't even finished, but I'm calling it.
So what I was getting at with the how to fix this
Oh,
story, because
okay.
we had discussed before
Mm-hmm.
how Steins Gate
Steins Gate. If you
handled
haven't watched it, watch it. That anime made me want to play the light novel games, so I could see all the different endings,
right. So
which is genius.
how they handled the timelines was
Mm-hmm.
great because it was never confusing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It slowly changed things from one character's point of view so that you knew what was going on the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it never made the character God. so
True.
so
True.
it kept it on the human level, which is where stories should stay because no human can relate to God or a God. I just don't think that is not a good that's not good writing. To me personally, it
Mm-hmm.
makes no sense. If people can't relate to something, then it's not going to work.
Mm.
It's not going to work.
Mm. 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 Mm.
So
I feel like you could probably, if you're smart enough, you can write a way for a godly character to be interesting, but you have to be good.
well, okay, but to
I mean, the same argument can be made for Superman, but we've seen some good Superman writing before. But that's another issue. That's
right,
another issue. We're not here to talk about sun gods from a different planet.
right. Well, it's the same thing, but you yeah, what you're saying is it basically still has to be it's still
It takes a lot
relatable.
more effort.
It's well, no, like those type, like that type of a god is still relatable because
Mm.
they're not OP. they
Yeah,
they
they're
have
lowercase g still.
yeah, they have one ability to do one thing and they can
Hmm.
die, right?
Yep.
Like you can kill them in the
Hmm.
stories
Yeah.
whereas whereas the one from Future Diary, Mirai Nikki, it's
Yeah.
you can't.
Yep.
A human cannot kill it. Uh, the only way this guy dies is through just um, once he runs out of power, which takes like tens of thousands of years. It takes forever. So,
Yeah.
if not longer, it never really tells you how long this original this previous god had lived for. So you really don't know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming a pretty long time, but
Probably.
it's not a relatable
I
character.
think one of the bigger conceits as well is that with Steins Gate, it's probably one of the better adaptations. It might have to do with where it's adapted from, because it was like like a how do I explain? I forget what they're called, but they're basically like choose your own adventures, except in like you play them on your PSP with animations and colors.
That's what the visual novel is.
The visual novel is, yeah.
Okay,
um and it's great because like you can see how the game mechanics work, right? Where it's you're making a choice and then you go to a different world line.
right.
You
And
feel me?
yeah, but if it is it just like the show where
Oh, it's the show, like the
it
same
makes
characters.
no no no
And the true ending would be the
no 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 no
ending
no
and
no no
stuff.
no. I'm saying is it just like the show in this one aspect where when you change the timeline, you see its effects on the
Yes.
world,
Yes,
right?
there's like a little counter thing,
Okay,
like the show shows. Yeah, a lot of the stuff the show gets is from that game.
right,
um I think the game actually goes a bit more in depth because it can, and the TV show had its time limit.
right.
So which makes me really interesting because I've seen people play it. Big conceit is main from the get go. Time travel is like, or from early on, time travel is implied or like very heavily referenced. So you're like in your brain, you're primed for okay, time travel hijinks are going to ensue. Compared to Mirai Nikki, where it's like, oh yeah, now like
Throws it in your face at the beginning, at the end. I mean, yeah,
third act, there's time travel stuff now. Good luck. You're like, what? And then it also introduces you to each character all the way through. Like the first 5 episodes are basically an introduction to each of one of the major players, basically in the story.
right.
Um, so you have like a good grasp of characters, and then also whenever a time change happens, you're going through like you're learning things as the main character learns things,
Hmm.
which makes sense because it's an adaptation of a light novel. So the main character would be basically you in the game. You would have been making decisions for that character in the light novel. So they basically framed the TV show based on that character. So they like would show the audience information as he learned it. Makes sense, right?
Right.
Um,
And what I'm thinking here is that uh, when I watched the show, there were my whole like you know how usually you're watching a show, reading a manga, whatever. You tend to try and predict what's going to happen, right? So
I mean, if it's painfully obvious, yeah.
no, well, no, I mean it's just natural. You kind of feel like you know what's going to happen,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Especially,
and
and it gets your senses get stronger the more and more you've watched, seen, or read.
right. So the way I saw the story playing out was
Mm-hmm.
more appealing to me than
Mm.
what happened. Like because the whole time I was thinking like it hinted at the girl as not as being either uh, a twin of this other. Okay, because let me backtrack a second here.
Do we want to spoil one of the better animes?
No, no. I'm talking about
Okay.
Mirai Nikki.
Okay. Good. Good. Good.
I'm not ruining Steins Gate. I'm
Yeah.
not. Hell no. Okay, so
Okay.
on Mirai Nikki, it tells you, or there at the beginning, the main character goes to this girl's house because they're getting along and everything. Everything's
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
well, whatever. They're kind of dating, fake dating, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's over at her house. the for some reason her power is not working, and uh, something else I can't remember. She doesn't have any lights or whatever. So he's like, "Oh man, I got to go to the restroom." So he goes to the wants to go to the restroom, sees that she's cooking, and he's like, "Oh man, where's the restroom at?" So he's like, he starts to open doors, and then he slides open this one room, and then he sees like dead bodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he finds out, wow, this chick's like crazy. She killed people who lived here. Like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
So at first, you 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 don't know who it is. Then you find out that there were three bodies, two belonging to her parents. The third one, they weren't sure yet. And then they
Yeah.
find out that the third one belonged to the daughter of the parents who she said she was. She said she was
Mm-hmm.
that girl, right?
Yeah.
So when you find that out, to me, I was thinking, oh, maybe because her parents were abusive, I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking, oh, she could be the twin that was beaten and locked up and nobody knew
Yeah.
about in the basement, some crazy
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
this show was, fucked up, so I thought it was
Yeah.
something like that. I was like, okay, and then she, her whole big secret might be that she's just, insane as shit and she killed her family, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to me that it seemed powerful enough, to be enough to be
Mm-hmm.
to be like that relatable scenario. But when it
Yeah.
when it opened it up to her being that same girl and that she traveled through time because she had become a
Yeah.
god previously, and then
Yeah.
now it was like,
She
oh
was
my
just
god,
she just wanted to see the main
the
character
main
again.
character again. It was like, oh my, her whole goal in the show is no longer appealing. I just don't care. Like,
Yeah. She's like, you're just looking at her like you're a god. You could fix everything.
yeah, is
Like in the back of your head, you're just like, you're a god.
yeah.
Why are
I
you doing this? You're a god. Like, why did we go through half this shit? You're a god. You just lose you
uh
sort of lose everything after that. So you're literally just playing house with a nigga's life.
I think what you said with it being whatever otherworldly aspect you add to a story,
Mm.
it needs to be introduced early on. And it needs to be
Yes.
understood that is a part of the rules of this
Hmm.
universe, like whatever it is.
And then also the plot twist the thing that makes a plot twist or irony work is that all the clues are there, but you somehow word it or lead them to make people purposely think that it's going to go somewhere else, right?
Right.
But the real answer is still satisfying because if you look at the previous clues you laid out, it works perfectly, right?
Right.
Which is what exactly what Steins Gate did perfectly in that show, um, or really well.
I think
Mirai Nikki, I don't, I don't think they really gave you clues
no.
when that plot twist came through. It was just like, oh,
At least not the
okay,
right kind. I could see if they had done some like weird thing where maybe there were like tears in the world, and
or like the god who was like the first god who was doing this like looked at her and made like some off comment about her.
right, like, oh
I don't remember that. Yeah, like you should like something about him being and her being similar or something like that. You know,
yeah, because
like because
he's the you're that's so funny you say that. Him making a comment about her would make sense because he is the god that domains over time and
yeah,
space.
he should
He
know shit.
he should know when someone travels back in time.
Yeah, so he should notice abnormalities.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So what I'm going to take away from this is what you said. Introduce rules early on so that,
Introduce characters.
yeah, yeah, that too. But for me, it's just to introduce that rule, the rules of the universe, so that people understand what's going on.
And then also make it and with the whole time travel thing, it was only in Steins Gate. It's only one person going through,
Yeah.
not multiple. So it doesn't get confusing like multiple. Well, yeah, it's only one person going through. It's not multiple, right? And
Right.
and it's this is in the synopsis, so it's not spoiling anything. He has the special ability to know when like time is being changed, as opposed to anybody else. Um,
Yeah.
oh, and also probably one of the most unique ways to do time travel.
No. You said too
That's all I'll
much.
say.
Stop
No,
it.
that's all.
Stop it.
That's all
Stop
I'll
it. Stop
say.
it.
That's all I'll say is to draw them in.
You
Probably it was smart how they did it. I loved it. Great.
all right?
But also that's all I wanted to
Don't
say.
get
That's all I
carried
tell people.
away.
That's all I tell people. I'm like, it's probably the most interesting, cool way to do it. And I will actually low-key want to talk to you afterwards about like something one of my friends was talking to me about that show. But I don't know.
I'm probably gonna rewatch it.
Oh, bro, so good.
Probably.
Gosh,
Yeah.
man, I don't want to like oversell it and like have people like be like, I want this show to like jack me off and give me an orgasm while feeding me grapes. But
Oh, I
it's
mean,
pretty decent.
yeah.
I'll
I
say it's decent.
I think that's one of my better uh like ways to applaud any show is that when I watch it multiple times and it's if it's
Oh,
decently long, okay, because
mhm,
these
mhm,
ones that are 12 or 26 episodes, like you could watch that like 3 times in a week. Yeah,
mhm,
not a week, yeah, a
mhm.
week
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
crazy.
If you
Like
have no
if you're
life.
crazy about it, yeah. No, but like a longer show.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, with this one, I don't think Steins Gate's fairly long. So I'd say definitely somebody,
And you could,
everybody, give it a shot. Check it
and you
out.
can, and it's one of those shows where you watch it. I like, I had to watch it once, and then I watched parts of it again and be like, oh yeah, or like read parts of the manga or see somebody play parts of the game and be like, ah, oh, yes, yes, look at that, I picked that up. Like they were low
It
key,
has
they
a
were
high
giving you clues the whole way through.
yeah,
It has a high what?
high replayability.
Oh, definitely,
I, I,
definitely.
I guess it's like a game term, but it's whatever. It works for
It's
shows.
yeah, good movies. Good. Some of the best movies. You're like, I want to watch this again.
Yeah.
The,
Well,
actually,
I mean,
some movies you're like, it's so heavy, but it's still good, but it's so heavy. I don't think I can watch this again. Maybe once every like year or 10 years.
yeah. I
And
wouldn't even say movies even fit that category because I remember being like 12 and watching Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back probably 30 times.
mm,
And that I don't know if you know anything about that series of
I
movies. It's
I would say there's some movies that weren't being watched twice.
yeah. I also watched Pootie Tang like every day for a couple, like a summer or something. If you've ever heard of that,
There's some
uh,
movies that have like like I guess the setup and punchline is the ironic twist, right? There's some movies where you watch you enjoy it more the second time, and
right,
you and it's better if you don't watch it a second time by yourself. You watch it a second time with somebody else,
with
and then
friends. Yeah,
you just watch their reaction, and you just smile knowingly to yourself like. These niggas don't know. You just watch. You low key less watching the movie and more watching their reaction and being like, "Oh, I can't wait for that scene. I can't.
yeah,
I just can't."
yeah.
um, I think Steins Gate's one of those shows.
Mm.
Yeah. So Mirai Nikki, do's and don'ts. Get good at art. At least for the manga.
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
if you're gonna have complex heroes and stories like this, like the thing is he had an interesting premise in the sense that each character's sort of special power is very unique, had really good set rules.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
the whole actually the whole build up was actually I think it was done well.
mhm.
Because like I said, I felt the ending. Just my anticipation for the ending was pretty high. Like I was ready.
Yeah, you were hyped,
I
and
was hyped, and
then
then that
he
happened.
shit the bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He,
S-
if you, do you think he wrote himself into a corner?
Oh
Do you think
yeah,
that's what happened?
what you said with the. Oh, well, no, like I feel like without the time travel part, it could have
Hmm.
easily been done without time travel. Like I
Um,
said, because the the whole main build up
you could have just made
was
it her a twin or the actual
right.
just the only daughter.
The whole build up of the show was what is this girl hiding? It
Yeah,
never
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah,
you
yeah.
could have made anything
Hmm.
that would make her turn into this twisted crazy bitch that just wants to kill everybody on the show.
Because I remember now that like look back at reading the manga, I think the opening thing with the main character was like, why does she like me so much, and why does she seem to know me so much?
She
So
was
like you're very intrigued with her as a person. Like, why is
like
she so into him?
right, and it made sense when it was said that she was like this crazy stalker that because the way
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
her diary power worked was she knew everything that was happening to him because before she got this power, she was literally looking at the guy, writing
Like a
down
stalker. Yeah,
writing
yeah,
down in her diary what everything she saw him do.
yeah.
So
And then isn't his power the same except just for him?
for him
Because
alone, yeah,
he was
because
he was writing a regular diary.
a regular diary about his what goes around
Life.
in his
Yeah,
life. Yeah, so yeah, it totally made sense. Like her character made sense to just make her a crazy person,
yeah.
not some. I mean,
Do you think maybe there was some editorial pressure? Maybe the guy, maybe because we with manga and stuff, we've talked about this before. Like I know this happened with Dragon Ball. Goku wasn't supposed to be like the way he is now. Naruto wasn't supposed to be the way it is now. Like Akira Toriyama and Masashi. I don't know how you say
you
his
mean
name. Kishimoto.
with
They had
Dragon
different
Ball,
visions. Yeah,
it was supposed to end. Goku was supposed to die, and then Gohan take over. What do
yeah,
you
but there's
what?
even more stuff. I've been watching a lot of stuff on Dragon Ball and like Akira Toriyama's interviews, and he said like a lot of stuff. Like initially, Goku was just supposed to be like legitimately just a monkey, and then the editors were like, you have to make him a boy to appeal to people, um, and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, mangas like the editor.
Wait, like straight up a monkey?
Yeah, like he's based off the Monkey King, so he would have been like legitimately just a monkey with a staff.
Oh, okay. Well, that would have been bad. I, I,
Yeah, sometimes the guy who
I,
wrote it was like sometimes the editors with when it comes to well, not Kishimoto, but
you know,
when it comes to Akira Toriyama stuff, the editors low key it wouldn't Dragon Ball wouldn't have popped off in the West.
yeah, it wouldn't have been as popular. It still probably would have been pretty good.
Yeah,
And if he kept the whole idea of growth in there, it would have been known for starting the growth idea in shonen.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
But also like yeah, evidently Akira Toriyama has a very anarchistic or contrarian mindset. Like they were talking about how they have popularity polls. This is just a side, I guess. You know how if you read the manga with they come out in magazines, and they have popularity polls for characters. So like Toriyama was saying, he'd get letters and they'd be like, "Hey, don't kill Vegeta," and then he'd like purposely make it so that he kill Vegeta.
wow.
Or like, don't let this person live, or make this hero or something, or make this villain, and then he'd like legitimately do the opposite of what people wanted him to do.
Well, then, so he's easy to manipulate because then if you know him as a fan, like you understand how he's reacted
Well,
to all these polls.
he said this after he made Dragon Ball Z, so it was already done.
Oh no! What I'm saying is like if someone's because they have these polls very fairly often. So as
Yeah.
this was going on, I'm sure there was a fan who picked up on this and was like, "Let me write in the opposite of what I want to happen." So he does what I want, you know.
Well, the thing is, obviously, he'd get a lot, so he'd see like the mass fan reaction of what they'd wanted. It's
Right.
not like one fan would figure it out, and I don't think 10-year-old kids are figuring out like, oh yeah,
Oh
this
well,
is I
yeah.
know how to manipulate this old man into making
Hey,
the manga I want.
you never know. But okay, so what you were saying with before we go
Editors
to yeah, we're going way too far off. So
is
with
maybe they
this,
wanted it
how
edited. Maybe at near the third act, maybe the editors were like looking at what he'd written down, and maybe it was a lot more depressing. And they're like, "Yo, you need to figure out a way to make this happy." So he like shoehorned in.
yeah, I think my thing is with this the writer should have had an idea of the ending if he was okay. I'm sure he did have an idea of how he was going to end it. If they weren't okay with it, if he truly felt original idea was the best way to go about this, then he
Yeah.
should stick to it. Stick to his guns.
From what I've been hearing, like, bro, it's crazy. I was watching a thing on Masashi Kishimoto, and he was talking about how this is the guy who's Naruto, right?
You were watching
Naruto,
it.
one
You were watching a thing on what?
Kishimoto, the mangaka who made Naruto,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he was in an interview after Naruto had ended, and he was like, at one point, like the editors, I was walking down, and then the editors like cornered me, like slammed me against like a wall, like while I was walking out and about, and they were like, "Yo, you're gonna have to do this," like thugs,
Mm.
and then they left. Like, and then I was like, "Oh crap, this is like real pressure." Like, like,
I would
and
love. I would. All right.
once you become like a cash cow over in Japan, like they
Yeah.
like have a vested interest. And then I was also thinking about the culture of Japan, and I don't know if any of you have played Persona 5, but there's a very hierarchical thing going on there.
Yeah.
So like it's very like sort of taboo to say to go against your superiors, even if you're like they're morally wrong. It's still sort of like, oh,
Okay.
like
So here's my thing. He's a rock star. This is how he should act. If someone
at
were
this
to do that,
at
at
this point I
oh,
don't
if
know.
someone were to do that, at this point he should. He is a rock star. If someone
Oh, at
were
this
to
point,
slam
yes.
me
Now,
up against a wall,
okay,
all right,
yes,
in any kind of context, I don't care. And this is about my story.
yeah.
They're either going to get hit, sued, or yelled at, depending on the
Probably knowing
severity of the
knowing you, it's all
situation.
three.
All three. It's the
But
severity.
also,
The
but
severity of the
also, we're
situation.
American, so
Okay, right, right. The
notice how
culture's different.
mangakas oh no notice how mangakas always write Americans. We're loudmouth and very confident.
Okay, but that so we need to dial it back. They need to amp it up.
Basically,
They need to
um,
stick by their guns because as creators, we do need to have a certain amount of respect for what like ourselves and what we're doing.
yeah,
Just I like okay. So if we were to create a thing and like you were just saying, uh, Akira Toriyama had these polls and all that. So if we get a critique on our art, for example,
Mhm.
and someone says, "Oh, you should change this," or you should change that," and it's something
Okay,
contrary to what you want to do,
yeah.
then you don't do it
Well,
unless it's a
it's
legitimate thing.
weird now, right? Because at least for Akira and Naruto,
Hmm.
it's sort of like now that they've gone through and made their hit series, now people that jump like now Akira's basically going over Super, and he basically just has free reign.
Yeah.
Like he has writers taking, so he like same thing with Naruto. Now that they're like, it's weird once you've like sort of paid your dues, as it were. Like they're just like, you're now a sensei, so it's like you like the guy like Kishimoto can walk in and then be like, yeah, I'm making a manga series, and they're like, good, do your thing, bro. We believe in you. You're good. Like it's weird. Once you're like the new guy, it's like these guys have seniority, but now that he's left, finished, and done something, if he comes back, they'll just be like,
Well,
he's more on equal footing with them now. It's weird how that works.
yeah. It kind of like gets me a little bit because
Yeah.
I really want to know the accuracy of whether or not he was actually pushed up against a wall because that's
Yeah.
fucked up. like I
Yeah.
mean I mean just talk sit down talk to the guy explain to
I'll
him
I'll
why you
I'll,
think
tr-
he
I'll
needs
try to
to.
find the videos I saw that explain this for both.
Yeah, but just
I
like
know. Yeah.
explaining
Go
to
ahead.
him, just like if someone were to talk to me and be like serious, I show them my story, which soon I'm going to be showing you what I've done, so you can help me out.
I'm not coming over to Texas and slamming you against the wall.
Yeah, but no, obviously, I if you were to be like, hey, dude, I feel like you should change this and that, like in a very like a very helpful way, or not even like a way that I feel you actually care about the direction of the way I'm
Yeah.
taking the story, then of course I'm going to listen to you
Mm.
because I know you give a shit. Whereas it's I
To
don't.
be fair,
Uh,
Kishimoto had some pretty bad ideas at the beginning. I remember they said one of his beginning ideas for Naruto was even before the one that made the one shot. One of his ideas was it was going to be a story about a man that owned a ramen shop and a boy. Like no magic, no. There's just like there's stories going through life, and they're just like, and then like the editors at Shonen Jump were just like, you do remember we're Shonen Jump,
right. That
not
sounds like a
Seinen
seinen.
Jump.
Seinen, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I feel like that could easily be turned into shonen. I don't care
I
what
guess.
kind. What do you mean? I guess
But
anything.
like I'm
Okay,
but how many times are you gonna be like, okay, maybe the editors were right there because Naruto
all
like
right,
became what it was,
all right.
a
So
cultural touchstone.
okay, all right. So we're simply going to break this idea down real quick. So
Oh
a
man, I can
man
see my veins.
a man owning a ramen shop with his son or a boy, right?
Oh
Okay, so
boy,
how do you?
are we gonna try to make this story dope?
Okay, so
You know
how?
we got that sauce, bro.
Okay, so how do you turn this into something that works within the demographic of young males, a young male audience? So obviously, first of
So,
all, you don't keep it in. All right.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Go, sorry.
okay. Well, you could just run it, and first of all, it depends on the setting. Is it your
Okay.
traditional Japanese ramen shop? Is it futuristic cyberpunk type of ramen shop? Is it uh, uh, a ramen shop owned in a European or American country? Like
Mm,
first of all,
I'm
so you have the
okay. Go
setting.
ahead.
Well,
Okay.
what do we have for the setting?
I'm a feeling with all the I've read like the one shot for Naruto, which is different from like
No, no,
the
no.
ninja thing that
Screw
happened.
his
So,
idea. We're making up our own idea.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just for
Well,
fun.
all right.
How
Ramen shop with boy and old man. Um, I mean
setting?
the setting, we could make it very interesting if we like. We could have it be a traveling ramen shop.
Okay, and the goal, because the main character or characters have to have a goal. So
Hmm.
like Naruto, Hokage, um, the
He
kid.
wants to be the kid could be like it could be a Shogeki no Soma type deal. Either the kid wants to eat like the best ramen around the world, and this old man knows like all these masters of making food or something, or like this kid is training to become the next top ramen man.
or it's a little more surreal, or magical. This ramen
Okay.
has the ability to okay, so it has the ability to sway a human being into doing something that
Holy crap! Like magical. Ooh.
that you want them to do. So let's say, I'm trying to think, how could you make it into a more like action packed scenario? Because
Oh, okay.
if it's simply just eating ramen
Well,
like that.
you could set it up to the world a world where like it's run by chefs and their power are like the most important thing, right?
Right, like pirates in One Piece. So
Yeah, and then
which
oh no, then we'd just be making Shogeki no Soma again, wouldn't we?
Shogeki what?
No Soma, Food Wars.
No, you wouldn't, because Food Wars. There's no fighting in Food Wars, is there?
It's shonen though, but there's like food battles. Like the guys like cooking up stuff. It's like a
Oh, no, no,
imagine
no,
a
no,
sports manga
no! I
except for
saw it.
food.
Yeah, I saw it. They're just doing Iron Chef, but anime.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like straight up. Okay? So let's say there's certain techniques to when you make noodles. You like stretch them out real long. You have to learn how
Hmm.
to make noodles, right? So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
say that that is linked to maybe like some type of spirit, energy, or world. And when
Mm.
you when you use these techniques to make ramen, uh, you can either infuse the ramen or actually use those techniques to use your power, whatever your power is.
Okay.
So like I'm thinking martial art, but I'm also
Mm.
thinking I think I don't know. I'm thinking like more magic type stuff.
And then the tools of your trade, whether it's a hammer that like makes the noodle that beats the dough or makes something flat, or like your kitchen knife which cuts stuff up, can like also magically turn into weapons.
Oh, dude. Okay, so this would probably be a pretty small cast, but the different characters in the show or
Hmm.
story have their specialty of how they create their dish. So
And they have
let's
their specialty dish,
their
right?
specialty dish, but they not only are they good at cooking, but they use the same tools they use.
Hmm.
So they're like blasphemy for Sanji from One Piece because he will never use his knives, his sashimi knives, to fight because it's
Except for
blasphemous
that
to a cook. That one time,
except for that spaghetti man.
yeah,
That
that
was
one
great.
spaghetti man. So
And they're just like, yo, he could give Zoro a run for his money, dog.
yeah,
I was like, oh crap.
yeah. So the all these guys. So like I would imagine like an American guy, with those big steak forks and steak knives, like
Oh,
just being a
bruh.
freaking badass with those.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so
And
maybe
like,
maybe it's like a secret, like they have like a secret tournament fight maybe or something between all these chefs. Like on the
oh,
surface, they're
they have to make their own special dishes, which like unlocks their own special powers.
oh
So like you make spicy ramen or whatever, and then you now have the ability to like mess with like water, like with fire or something or lava,
fire out. Oh,
and like it makes it like because it's like noodles, it gives you a lot of energy, so you're like quick, or you can have a lot of stamina. Because it's steak, if it's spicy steak, you're like a mixture of strength and fire because protein.
right.
Like
Yeah.
special
Ooh.
dishes do different things to you, so you have to like have them like little vials of it in like around you, and like as you're fighting and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh man. I'm getting excited thinking about this.
Yo, are we actually making our group comic that we talked about possibly doing?
Oh my
This would be a
god.
great little one shot.
A little one shot. Holy crap. We should try it. We should try it, like for
we're
real.
putting this as a stretch goal, guys.
Stra-
If we get enough followers, we'll start working on that comic we thought of an episode. What is this? Eight,
Eight.
nine,
I think eight. It's eight.
eight.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh.
yo, this is low key. And then they're like traveling around trying to get stronger. Uh, oh, we could really have fun with the character designs because we could like have their like designs be based off of like their food, because food implies culture, right?
Right. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
food. But do we want to base it in a real world or make it its own like sort of
It's
mythical type of deal? Because
right.
if you could involve dragon meat, and that could mess some like special powers up.
Dragon meat?
Yeah,
That would be
or
like
like
your ancient forgotten
art or
art of
whatever, or like
cooking and
or
buffing
like
ability.
like people who eat fish get like water powers, or you mix fish in there, you like mix in water, like messing with water and stuff, or like oh,
You
bro.
hear the Birdman hand rub?
Yo, I started almost doing the Birdman hands too. Uh, and
Oh,
like the old man is like the master, and
right.
the young boy is like walking with him. It's like a Jiraiya Naruto situation sort of deal.
Yeah, or All Might and Midoriya.
Midoriya, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
He's the old wise man, the archetype, and the hero with 1,000 faces.
Oh man.
Um. Oh yeah, dude.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah, dude.
It would be. I think if we were to turn this into like a one shot idea,
Hmm.
then basing it in real world would real world setting would be more doable for a short story. Because
Mm.
I mean we could. I mean, because neither of us have really done
I feel
much
like
world
I feel
building,
like we.
right? Like
I guess,
visual world building.
but I feel like I'm thinking about this, and I'm like having a lot of fun with like imagining a world where like the main power source is food, like that, with like
Oh,
magical food creation,
but
and
okay.
just
So
like.
would it have? So would it
And
have
man, I'm
your
thinking of like circles for the little kid, like he's an energetic ball of like, oh,
would would
low key want to make stuff. Yes. What?
would it have? But would the setting have your typical, because you're saying the main power source. So would it be more of a technological world or magical, like
Oh, we're going magic, dog, all the way.
magic? Okay, so like your typical
It
like
helps with the.
fantasy magic, like so like buildings would be more like medieval castles and ruins and such, or would it?
I'm thinking we do the sort of pseudo Naruto deal where it was like a weird mix of modern slash old stuff. I think that's interesting.
Okay.
Um, just basically imagine if magic existed in our world, where would we be? We wouldn't have electrical batteries. We'd have like runes
Oh,
inside
okay.
of like our iPhones and stuff, or like you know, you could say. And if these chefs are such a big deal, the world is sort of centered around them. Like like 5-star chefs are like basically like they low key run shit, you know.
Yeah.
And you could like design the world around like the Capitol building being like a restaurant or something.
uh, oh,
Uh, or like oh yeah,
I'm
I'm thinking some cool stuff.
and depending on the city, because where they or the country where they come from, of course
Hmm.
they'd have their
Their signature dish,
right. So their buildings be
their
might be
Garden
designed.
dish.
Their buildings might be designed based
Oh.
off of those things. So in a Japanese in Japan, it would be,
Hmm.
as opposed to what it looks like now. You could add in uh, with
What
their
is the national
pillars,
animal of Japan?
their national. I'm sorry, what?
The national animal of a nation. Like if it was America, it'd be like
Oh, we have the bald eagle, right?
okay, so it'd be like
But but
cooked eagle,
cooked
and
eagle? No, no, no,
no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no. I'm thinking about this. Just hear me out. It's very sacred for you to do this. So it's like if you're doing this, like it was like, whoa, you're calling upon our like this power of our guardian, like animal of the country or city or whatever, right? So this
no.
is very solemn when you do it. Like you don't just do this. And
Oh,
then so like let's say somebody has like you have like your regular stuff, which is your popular stuff. So like let's say beef, because you know America's known for beef and steak and stuff like that. So
hmm.
beef would be like the cool stuff to eat, but like if you really want to f around and like destroy someone, you'd eat like a turkey, like a seasoned eagle leg, and be like,
Oh, seasoned
and then
eagle leg.
you just like grow eagle wings and just be like, just be
That would
like,
that would have to be like one of the reserved abilities for maybe the most powerful people, because I mean, if you
yes,
think about it, any national animal is a treasure to that nation. So
basically.
it would
So
be
like
very
every
rare.
time I could see somebody being like, "Thank you for this power, I will use it," and then they like open their eyes and they're just like, they like eat and gobble it, and they're like, oh, and you could like use bowls as like in large bowls as like huge shields.
No,
Oh, like
and what I was thinking about the actual building architectural design, because you said modern
mhm.
mixed with this magical stuff,
I
is
was
to
feeling a mix
use.
of like a style mixed of Naruto and One Piece. The like the liveliness of One Piece is what I'm thinking of with like his shapes and stuff. Oh,
Right. Well, and what I was thinking, like a little twist to add on to it, or another element to add on to it, was, because we were talking about their signature dishes. Well,
yeah,
if
yeah.
if you were to imagine, my example was going to be, if you were to imagine, Japan's like their typical architecture with the like like their castles or their
Mhm.
homes, the
Mhm. Mhm.
large
Mhm.
homes. Well,
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of their pillars just being those typical, like 4x4
Shinto
wood.
castles.
Yeah. Well, the little, like in a home, not the
Okay.
castles. So you know how in the
Okay.
homes they actually have like the little 4x4 pillars that go around like the wooden walkways.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead, have them be like strands of noodles, like wrapping up, you know, like, so it'd be like ramen noodle
That is
pillars, right?
amazing.
So then,
Yo,
yeah, so then we would have the same for other countries. So America would have
imagine have you
steaks.
seen you guys have watched I talked about this a while back in the first episode with Kanma.
Yeah.
Uh, the you know that boxing sort of the pseudo boxing spring game for Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
Forgot the name.
oh, punching,
Yeah.
boxing,
Oh, I forgot, but it
spring
was so
boxing.
fun.
No,
Yeah, their arms are made of springs,
springs
but they're
boxing.
fighting.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Uh,
what about it? We can't remember the name.
there's
We'll
one
remember it.
character who's a girl who's a leader of a ramen shop,
Oh, no way.
and her springs aren't springs; they're noodle arms. She literally has noodle arms, literal noodle arms.
Oh, that's
She
awesome.
makes ramen, and her arena is a giant bowl. Like next, so like you dip into the ground, and like you'll be going up, and like so you have to use elevation and stuff. And I'm like, do we need to use that as a concept idea for like arenas in this in this world? She like fits in perfectly. Like
That's awesome.
so good. Now that I think about her, I'm like, oh yeah, we get like themed stuff. Like we get like fish and chips in like England and stuff. Like, oh man. Maybe like we do research on different restaurants and like use it as inspiration. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we would
Yeah.
destroy. And
Oh.
it'd be. I feel like it would have like sort of that whimsical because it's shonen, right? So it'd have that whimsical like, and the whole thing's sort of ridiculous, but so we'd be able to do the whole whimsical like shape language and be like, yeah, energetic kid, like I gotta eat this food. I feel like there'd be a lot of exaggerated poses.
Oh
Oh, it'd
yeah.
be great.
Oh
Oh, it'd
yeah.
be freaking great. Oh yeah, dude. I'm about it.
Yeah. That
I'm gonna
that
have to write that one down. So yeah, podcast listeners, this is why I like this man.
dude. Hey, but what did I say, dude? Even though Kishimoto,
I
this
don't
may
think
have.
Kishimoto was thinking like that. I think he was thinking boring sign in stuff, which is why they're
Oh.
like, bro. If he
Well,
thought of this, he might have came through with some good
the
crap.
point is any idea can,
Can be worked
yeah, can
upon.
be worked upon, yeah, to be interesting. I mean,
To
or
be to be fair, he does talk about his editors as like a team. So
right.
sometimes as a certain editor, I feel like it might have been one of those things where the team came together and they're like, dude, because he was saying I think he said his like it was two editors and one of his art staff came up to him and like, dude, you can't do this to the story. So it might be one of those things where they like, yo, we're like in this together and we're a team and we're just no, we came to a vote and you're not effing the story up like this.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, not like actually throwing him up against the wall.
Because he was saying there was a lot of like there's a lot of decisions he made looking back that were like really bad, and then like his editors were like, "Dude, what are you thinking?"
Yeah,
Um, he was saying something about how he knew early on people didn't like Sakura, so and it made him. And he'd been trying to make Sakura like likable, so like he kept like trying to make her pretty and stuff. And like I was listening to him, and like, nigga, you thought making her pretty would make us like her? That's a really dumb writing decision for a girl. Like peak Sakura was when she was in the Chunin exams, and both of the main niggas were out, and she was like, "I'm gonna defend them." And then she did some smart shit, laid out traps, and was taking on three people by herself. And you're like, "She's not useless."
yeah,
Oh my goodness, character development.
yeah,
And then he was just like, he like forgot that's what made good characters and was like, damn, why don't people like Sakura? Maybe I should have this plot line with her and Naruto where like she's thinking like fake thinking about him and stuff, and I'm like, no, just make her useful. She's a fucking ninja.
I mean, to be fair, she
That would
does.
literally
She does
she
end up
would
becoming useful.
sorta
Sorta.
after after the niggas have been doing the hard work. You can't even argue that shit.
Wait, after they've been what?
After they've been doing the hard work,
Oh, well, I mean,
Mm.
No, she learns from what's her face?
Tsunade, yeah, but like
Yeah.
the other two are literally like, oh yeah, we're the reincarnated versions of like these gods.
Well,
So
that's unfair.
F you, Sakura. And then Kakashi's just like, oh yeah, I got the Mangekyo from my best friend who I was able to change the mind of, who literally is basically god level anyway. So F you, Sakura. Like the only thing she does at the end is like punch the girl. Punch the last god, but that's only after Naruto and them were just like, hey, we came up with this plan. Like she was she was she made it so useless. Tamari was better than her.
Who's that?
Hinata. Tamari was the girl that Shikamaru got with. The blonde haired girl.
Oh,
Remember?
from Sand Village?
Sand Village with the wind? Yes.
Yeah.
Tamari has literally proven on more occasions that she's useful.
Well, I think that okay, when you say useful, I think what you mean is really strong offensive powers because like
Or in battle.
yeah, offensive.
Yes.
That's what that really
Yes.
offensive power. Yeah, cuz
Yes.
her focus obviously is healing, right?
Healing, yes.
Yeah, so I mean it'd be hard that she's useful. It's just hard to make her.
But she gets the whole Granny Tsunade punch thing, and you don't really see her use it. That's
What?
what pisses me off. Is like, oh, like after the whole Naruto arc, and like they come back from the break, she's like, oh, you like, she's like, oh yeah, everybody gets paired up with a sage. So Sasuke gets Orochimaru, Naruto gets Jiraiya, and Sakura gets Tsunade. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You're like literally passing on to the next generation.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, Granny Tsunade was a beast.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
she got that punch, and then like she literally has to be puppet controlled in the
okay.
first arc,
So
and you're like,
Tsunade never actually does anything crazy. She never does.
low key, you right,
Think about it. She never does anything
you
crazy. Her focus is healing, except for the time when she has that what is that 100 healings thing tattoo thing come
yeah, like her
activate.
sage, her say every one of the sages, every one of the three sages basically have their own sage mode, and
Right,
that's her sage mode.
right, and that's when she just goes off and she can't die. Right, but
Yeah, basically,
but that's
all
it.
her stored chakra.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the only time she does anything really offensive.
Other than like becoming Hokage, and in the back of your head, you're like, Tsunade is being useful because she's Hokage.
Okay,
So
all
I
right.
assume,
They're both useful. It's just they're not offensive fighters. They're not.
I guess.
How do you mean? How do you?
I guess. I don't know because it feels like even when like okay, Sakura is always like other than Sasuke, Sakura was one of the smarter ones, right?
Right. Oh, you're saying you. Well, okay. Okay. Oh,
Like
I
if
know
you're
what
not
it
gonna
is.
fight, at least be like planning
All
stuff
right.
out.
I
Like because
know.
Naruto's really inventive as well.
I know the problem.
Okay.
It's not her fault.
Yeah,
You
it's
know why
Kishimoto's
it's
fault.
no. Yes, but this is why it's his fault.
Okay.
What did we have a problem with about Naruto?
The character
No, no,
or the series?
no. The series. What is the one thing we usually talk about when we talk
Power
about
creep.
power creep? Is that oh yeah how the cap you mean like how strong
Yeah,
they get?
yeah. Power creep. Yeah,
Right.
basically.
Okay, I didn't know that's what that meant. But yeah, that's okay. So that's the problem. She would have
He
been
didn't scale
useful.
her.
She would have been more useful if it had stayed like it was when they were kids, like the
Mm,
same fighting where it
mm.
required the amount of thought that Hunter x Hunter's fighting
Yeah.
takes.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
not just a power level
That's why
fight.
she was so cool for moments in the Chunin exams.
Right, it would work if it stayed at human level combat.
Basically,
Right.
like slightly above human level.
Yeah. Man, that's yeah.
Because the thing is, Naruto is like dumb knowledge wise, but she has pretty decent knowledge base.
Yeah.
So like Naruto, she'd be
She's
like,
Hermione,
okay,
dude.
this. Yeah, she'd be like giving people like the information they need, and Naruto would be like, okay, I'm gonna come up with the idea that's like so off the wall they can't predict it.
Yeah.
That's how they got the. That's like one of the big things that got me when they first did their return arc because it was just her and Sakura, and they're like, we have to get the bells from Kakashi. and then like she was like telling him like all the stuff he's got and like the information or whatever, and they were talking to each other, and then Naruto's like, I have an idea.
So, I don't know. I was just thinking about something.
Oh, what?
This comparison might piss people off, but
Okay, here we go.
Sakura is Hermione.
Yeah.
Sasuke is Harry Potter. And
Okay.
okay, but I'll explain why. And then
Keep going, keep
And
going.
Naruto is Ron. So
Naruto is Ron.
so 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 Sasuke is Harry, but he's not. Harry's nice. So Harry's the nice version of Sasuke. All right,
Nice Sasuke, yes.
nice Sasuke.
He talks to snakes and shit.
he's
This is great.
he's Sasuke if Sasuke never felt vengeful.
Yeah.
Okay, because remember his parents were killed young, and he could have been crazy on revenge for Voldemort,
Yeah.
but he's not, right?
Mhm.
Okay, we're so the reason I say this is because Hermione, it always felt like Hermione was more interested in Harry, you know, but somehow her and Ron end up together. Yeah, so Ron did, and Ron,
At
he's
least
that,
in the movies. I think in the books they explained it a bit better.
right,
But
and so Naruto and Ron, the thing they have in common is that dumb aspect.
they're goofball.
They're
They're
goofball.
goofballs.
There you
They're
go.
deceptive goofballs.
Deceptive goofballs. Yeah.
Because most people count them out and then they like pull out like because they think differently and they're inexperienced in one area. They pull out like this. Hey, you counted me out. But I'm the Maverick.
I will say I'm reaching with those two, but Hermione,
Yes, you are.
Hermione and Sakura is not reaching.
Okay, yeah. It's I feel like it's just Masashi didn't know how to really write girl characters. I've noticed all of like all the crazy dudes were all the crazy people were dudes.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know if that's on purpose due to the fact that shonen, so aimed at boys, so he tried to make more of the cool people boys, I guess.
Yeah.
But it felt as if like the girls were like they'll have their little time to shine and then they're just sort of like, hey, could you like stay over here, dog, while the men are at work?
Yeah. I don't yeah. Not a fan of that, man. Not a fan.
That's low-key what I peeped.
I hope that
and this is my favorite one of the animes and mangas that like I grew up on, right? You know, like
yeah. Oh
so.
My goodness, you saying that makes me so worried for My Hero Academia.
My Hero, I think, is better.
Well, no. What I'm talking about with the girl part, the girl.
Yeah, I think it's better with that specifically because they've like from what I've read of the manga.
No specifics, please.
But what I'm in specifics in the sense that like
of spoilers is what I'm saying.
No. But I don't think I've even caught up. I think I have to catch up honestly with the manga and the anime.
Okay.
But from what I've seen is he cares about each individual's powers. So it's not like, and I think he cares about power creep as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. So like, and he even has a second manga that he's doing called The Vigilantes, which has a main girl character. So I feel like he's taking care of them just because of each person's power is very unique.
Yeah.
And is very useful in certain situations. It's just that he sort of it just feels like he sort of forgot about the other people.
I can see it happening.
I can, yes,
but I hope it doesn't. I
for whatever reason I feel like he won't.
He won't.
Like,
yeah.
He keeps introducing new female characters and just characters in general that just have very good particular powers or they're strong or whatever. Where it feels like sometimes in Naruto, like cleanup duty was dudes.
Yeah.
You know.
And then not even at that point it was just the godlike characters who
yeah,
got
all the godlike. The only godlike character that was like a girl was the final boss in Naruto.
Wow.
Think about that. All the
Yeah.
other ones were just like her sons.
Because even Rock Lee had his like crazy 8 gate thing that he,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Wow.
I think it was, and I don't think it was like him being misogynistic. I think it was the same reason that Akira Toriyama says he sucked at writing normal girls. He can only write. He says one of his things, he's comfortable only writing like girls that are strong willed. That's why you noticed with what's her
Bulma and
face,
Chi Chi. Oh, that's such a
Chi
good
Chi.
point.
Chi Chi started out like a like he actually wrote Chi Chi, like this is a actually thing he says in an interview. He wrote Chi Chi as a way for him to like practice writing normal like or even shy girls. And if you notice, Kid Chi Chi is very shy.
Very shy.
But then
Very shy.
he started to realize like he hated drawing Chi Chi. So what he actually did, the reason why Goku married Chi Chi, it was as a punishment for himself. He was like, "Oh, I hate drawing Chi Chi. I'm gonna make myself draw Chi Chi more." And then on top of that, he changed her into a strong-willed woman
And it
who was
makes
angry at
perfect
Goku.
it makes perfect sense though.
Yeah,
How
but still, like her original purpose was waylaid by the fact that he just couldn't figure out how to be like, "Oh, this girl's normal."
Oh man, that's great.
Like, and then I think with what's with Masashi, like you can tell even by the way he handled the Sakura thing, with what his reason for it was like, oh, I need to make her prettier.
Yeah, that's
That's such a bad rationale.
I don't get that
Um,
one.
yeah, and he
It
said, oh, he was talking about one cover where he had the three of them, and it was like adult, and he's like, I busted Naruto and Sasuke out like in a couple minutes. I literally spent an hour on the cover on Sakura, but nobody noticed.
So I will the one thing about that being a weird solution he comes up with is because the whole universe of Naruto doesn't really put an emphasis on beauty to begin with. Like,
Not really,
no,
only as like a joke, at least for the men. And
yeah,
it would have been interesting if he went for the Kunoichi thing, because like if he went Kunoichi, like he could have been like, oh, they use their sexuality. That would have made her even more useful, right?
yeah,
Because like she grows up and she becomes cuter and she like figures out like or like showing what's her face her rival Ino using her
yeah.
sexuality against some of these guys, but they never show that. It's all battle. So it's like you drop the ball there too. If you're going for the beauty aspect,
Well,
like
yeah, I actually that was one thing I liked about it because it's if okay, well, that's one thing I like about Miyazaki's films
mm-hmm,
specifically because they're that also Akira the movie, but
mm-hmm,
they they're not every female character is that beautiful, not regular looking. There's no like normal looking girls in your typical anime. It's all like this cute
oh
girl.
yeah,
It's cute face,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah, yeah,
face,
yeah, yeah.
or sexy
He's
face. It's
he's.
like
I think that's one of my
I
challenges.
like
It's
it when it's when people aren't afraid to make their girls look like ugly. Like give them a full
yes,
range of emotions and everything.
not only ugly, but just use different face shapes.
Well, that's what I mean
Because
by quote unquote ugly. Is the
I think
like
my thing is you get used to like drawing a girl in a certain place, especially if you're not used to this the sex, I guess.
yeah.
And I know for me, it's like sometimes I'm just like I don't know if this looks good, right? But sometimes I just have to like let myself go and be like, you know what? That's her.
Yeah,
That's her face.
yeah. I
Um,
because it
sometimes you
and
need to elongate it or stretch it. Stretch it out.
right because it like in making comics, he says there's different types of beauty. It's not
Hmm.
just one like that. That's when he's referencing same face. But what I'm
Yeah.
just saying is like even a normal looking girl, a normal girl who's
Hmm.
not super beautified with all his makeup on is still pretty. Like they still can be
Hmm.
appealing to
Yes.
guys, like which is
Basically,
very
you
true. Like
don't be afraid to do that.
yeah,
It's just, and I think it's just a thing of comfortability. Because like with guys' faces, you're seeing guys' faces, so you're like, in a way, you're just more comfortable. Like especially if you're looking at a mirror, you're just more comfortable looking at that. But with its Like I've noticed with if girls making comics, they're more used to like making girl characters with varying features. And then their guys all are like, okay, you're all tall, lanky motherfuckers with 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 boy band face,
Boy
but
band.
different hairstyles and slightly different eyes.
Oh
They
man.
all look like Justin Timberlake is a gay Twinkie son.
Oh. And these are of course, your generalities.
And then guys are just like it's similar. It's like
It's very
pretty
similar.
face. Sometimes the bust and legs are different, but different hairstyle,
I
different eyes, and that's usually it.
Yeah, I think though guys have that tendency to do it even with guys too.
Mm.
Like making guys more rugged than they really are, it's
Really are or need
yeah,
to be.
or need to
They're
be.
afraid to go effeminate or
Yeah.
fat.
Fat, yeah. Yeah, man.
No, sometimes
no
actually sometimes I've seen fat stuff like
well
mm,
in comics, yes.
yeah.
Or manga, anime, yes. But I think just artists. I'm thinking
Or
artists in general. It's not
broad turn, yeah.
yeah, in a broad sense.
You're not gonna see them on a splash page, but sometimes splash pages are just for like,
Hey
I
man,
want this to be pretty. But I guess maybe you got to break that, you know?
yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah. It's definitely not true for everyone, but it's. I think it's where we all start, though. Like
True.
we got to kind of be comfortable. Now we're going into like art stuff, but which is good. But
Yeah.
you gotta get comfortable to a certain degree with drawing a face in general, and then
Mm-hmm.
drawing a male and a female face. Like because that's
Mm-hmm.
that's your
And
basic.
stretching the crap out of it.
Yeah,
Not afraid if it looks weird. As long
right,
as like
right.
it follows the rules of a face.
Right. It just takes a bit to get the hang of you know just drawing a face in general. So we need we
Mm-hmm.
need that we need that simple same face at the beginning. I think.
True. Just to understand, and that becomes the base.
Right.
Um, who else would? Oh, well, I mean, speaking of art and all that and funding it, we
Hmm.
got guys. We got a Patreon now.
Oh yeah,
I
we
said
did.
this before,
Right.
Clueless critics, but if any of you feel like you want to get a Patreon and you're waiting for like a certain subscriber amount or follower amount on certain social media before you do that, that's dumb.
Damn.
And I'll tell you why. I thought the same way, and then Fish had to be like, you can just practice that, and if you're gonna continue drawing, it's gonna come anyways, right? So you might as well get used to having that now while there's little amount of people, so that when a larger amount of people come, you're used to it.
Yeah.
And
It's
he
a
made
it's a
like,
slow build up with our skills. Like
mm-hmm,
yeah.
because you don't want to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm at like Ilya level or whatever, but now I just start a Patreon. Now you have an influx of Patreon. You don't know
You don't
people on
know
your
what to
Patreon.
do.
You don't know how to keep a Patreon schedule going, doing all that stuff.
Which
Like you wanna
that's a
trickle
good
it. You know,
problem, honestly.
it is a good problem. It's still a problem.
It's
Like
yeah.
it still causes you stress.
Oh yeah.
Like you're like, oh, I don't know how to get all these ships things for all the reward tiers. Like, oh, like I don't know how Patreon's payout works. You
Yeah,
know,
it's that idea of waiting to be ready, which
mm-hmm.
is it makes no sense. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. If your goal is improvement, then just do it. Eventually, you will grow.
Yeah.
Um,
And it totally applies to Patreon.
and some of you might be listening, and you're like, oh, if I've thought about Patreon or Kickstarter and stuff, and we'll speak specifically on Patreon, and you're like, I don't know what to do for my reward tiers, and I'm like, my man Fish linked me. I don't know what the name was. It a podcast?
You're
Uh,
talking about
to
One Fantastic
uh,
Week? Those
One
guys?
Fantastic Week. They
Yeah.
only have one tier, and it's $1, and they're just like,
Was it?
we'll thank you.
Oh no. What that wasn't them that had that.
Oh,
No. It was the people with one tier. That was just a podcast. I can't remember. Oh,
Mm.
his name's Sam Harris. He's a philosopher, and I think he's a neurologist. But yeah, he just has a $1 tier.
He has a $1 tier, and it's just like, I'll thank you.
Yeah.
And then I saw you another. I saw another thing like that where it was an artist who writes, a writer for Marvel, and he's written multiple books, Saladin or something.
Mm.
Um, and he literally just has a $1 tier, and he's like, I thank you, and like he makes $22,000 a month.
What?
He just has a lot of followers because his books are really popping, and he writes for Marvel. And he doesn't even
Wow.
post that much. Like literally, I was looking through his postings on Patreon. There'll be a good 5 month gap between his stuff.
Wow. Wow.
So people just if you're big enough, people just like you.
I mean,
And
and
obviously,
yeah, because
people will
he's not.
donate more than just $1 sometimes.
Yeah, and he's not. Yeah, it's not like he's not. If he's doing just a $1 tier, it's not like he's not making a big promise to people
Yeah,
with that kind of tier. So I
he's
mean,
just like he's just talking to them every once in a while, be like, "Hey, cool, here's my poetry. Here's some like ideas for stuff I'm doing."
I'm assuming he's
And then he
amazing,
dips.
or
I'm
just
assuming
really good.
He's won awards for his writing.
Yeah, so
So
I'm assuming he's really good. So
he probably has just a lot of fans. I mean, he's the guy we were talking about who said George R. R. Martin on his thing.
wow,
He said George R. R. Martin was like he made a great swashbuckling adventure book.
dude,
That was literally one of his tags.
I'm so glad you just told me that. Now I'm definitely starting mine. Oh.
So you don't need to start with like 200 billion tiers and 5 reward goals.
Yeah,
And
just
obviously
a $1
Patreon
tier. Wow.
and Patreon you can edit as you go along as things come up.
Yeah.
It's don't put yourself into a fearful state so therefore you procrastinate.
Hey.
And it kills your mind and your body and your soul and what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Um, so yeah, just don't do that. It's just like the same thing we'd give you with art. What are you not confident in? Tackle it constantly. That's
Yeah.
literally what I'm doing.
What are you afraid of doing?
This whole podcast, I'll come clean. I am horrible with time management. I'm horrible with keeping on track with something. I'm horrible with doing that. This podcast and doing this with you guys at Fish has basically forced me to get better at like planning ahead, scheduling thinking of topics, trying to do this on a regular basis.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, like
and it's just, go ahead.
just like us having difficulties, keeping the schedule with this. Like
Yes,
we're slowly getting better
better at it.
at it. Yeah. Yeah.
We're also slowly getting better at talking, which is amazing.
Right.
um, always forget to support my voice and all that, but it's one of those things where it's like if you like it enough and you're willing to work at it, technically everything is a skill.
Absolutely.
Technically
We're taking the time to actually get better at warming up before this with our whole our yawning.
Yo,
Session
the Morgan Freeman. Look up Morgan Freeman talking talk voice techniques on YouTube, audience, and you should go to a late night TV show with I forget his name. Is it Corbin? Whatever. He's a British guy.
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
He had
his
Morgan
name.
Freeman on, and he was like, Morgan Freeman had this talk about how you relax your throat, and he says basically I yawn, and it stretches out your larynx, I believe he said.
Larynx, yeah.
And like it gives you a fuller sound and it's deeper. I'm even like remembering it now, even though throughout the whole thing I was in my high register Villamon choking up voice. But yeah,
yeah, it was because the guy asked him, night show host asked him, how do I get a deep voice like you?
a good sexy voice.
Good,
if I remember
sexy,
right.
yeah, sexy voice.
Because Morgan Freeman in England got voted sexiest voice alive or something.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I would vote for him for that.
The man voiced God. I feel it's sacrilegious if you don't.
Twice.
Twice.
Didn't he voice God twice?
Twice. and it's mean to Mandela because he was also Mandela. So if you just want to
Oh,
disrespect Mandela like that, of course you wouldn't vote him. But all the other people who have sense, who have good common decency, would probably vote for Morgan Freeman.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, so check out our Patreon. Hit us up on there. You don't need to donate too much. Look, if you can't donate that much,
Oh, dude.
it's not that big of a deal. But I promise you, we will continue to get better. We'll be posting on their stuff. Um, we'll be talking to you on Patreon. I don't. I don't know. Maybe we'll do the Discord thing. Maybe we'll keep the polls on the Patreon alone. That way, we don't have to run a Discord.
Oh, right. The polls. Did you even talk about that? How we're gonna
Oh,
do
okay,
polls?
yeah. So one of the selling points of being a patron, I believe it's the $1
It's
tier
$1.
is
Soon, yeah.
$1 tier. You can vote on polls that will come up for subjects that you might want us to talk about and subjects that we're thinking about tackling. And then for the $5 tier, excuse me, you can suggest ideas that will be put on polls. Clueless Comrade,
Hmm.
as it. Clueless Comrade is $1 tier. Clueless Corporal is a $2 tier. Read those. Read the descriptions. I tried to be a bit humorous with them. um, yeah, and we're probably going to be putting up a little bit more of the stretch goals in there. But yeah, once again, want to thank any of you who do want to, and we just want to thank people for like listening to us. Oh, 23, 30, 40, 50. I don't know how many people are listening to us now, but
Oh, heck yeah. Definitely.
all all you people who are, all you people who care, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you very much.
and we might make a poll, just being like, "Hey, do you want a Clueless Critics uh, personal Instagram page as well,
Oh, I
or
think
should we
we'll have
just
to, I
do
think
that?
we'll have to do that anyways, honestly.
Just do it.
That yeah, that and or Twitter.
Yeah,
Um
that'd be cool. Oh, another selling point for all of you artists. We'll be doing critiques at the $15 tier um,
of artwork.
per
Yeah.
of our work per month. If you have like a work that you want us to critique at the $15 tier, you can get a critique from either me or Fish, and we guarantee that it's going to be good. We're not dumb at art. um, well,
It,
not well. I'm not. I don't know about Fish.
oh dang.
I'm
Well,
kidding. I'm
well,
kidding.
yeah.
High key is better than me. So,
Wow. Time.
uh, yeah, it's all time and stuff.
It's
But
all
if you
time.
want a critique or advice on a piece, we'll be there to help. Um, we'll do it. I think it's specifically we'll do like a draw over, if I remember right.
Draw over or paint
Uh,
over, depending on what it
Paint over,
is. If
yeah.
it's line art or painting, yeah.
Line art or painting, yeah. And then, uh, yeah, that's it right now. We want to do the Patreon to get better equipment so we don't sound like complete garbage over mics, and we also want to be able to get it so that we can get an RSS for audio, so you guys won't be listening to us only as video, because we are getting the RSS from YouTube, and whenever that RSS comes from YouTube and goes to iTunes, it becomes a podcast video, which I know is quite a bit annoying for a lot of you. Um, we're
Which
gonna try to rectify that.
I
Oh,
did
continue.
I did find out though that even though it does play as video,
Hmm.
the podcast app actually allows you to still play it even when your phone's locked. So
Oh,
yeah, it would
do
just
you have the step by step process for that, or?
no, it just as right when you play it, I played it and then I locked my phone and I was still listening to it. So
Oh,
yeah, so
okay, cool.
you can still listen to it locked. I don't know if because it's in video format whether or not Well, it doesn't have any video running, so I don't think it's gonna run your battery
Down like
down
that.
more. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's a still image, and then of course if your phone's locked, it's not running an image or
just not
anything.
playing it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So okay, that issue's fixed. I still sort of want to
yeah, I still think it should be in audio only format. Just
because I think it takes less. It's less space, right?
yeah, it's much
Yeah.
less space.
So if you want to download it and listen to us, yeah, I think that'd be a good a good thing to get
Yeah,
done.
I think the MP3 format with full audio after being edited is only like 70 megabytes, whereas the
Mm.
MP4 is ah man, it's a lot.
Ew.
It's a lot,
Wow.
a lot more.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, which is
Well,
weird because it's just a still image. I don't
it's
know.
yeah, but I guess for whatever reason, I think video. I don't know what added technical jargon I could put.
Yeah,
It just adds. TV adds weight. I guess that works with works with actual megabytes as well. Um, but yeah, that I think that'll be it for it. You're welcome for another meaty episode. This is another 2 hour one. Man, remember when we used
hey,
to give
we
them? Remember when we used to give you guys like 1.5 if we
one
were
and a
feeling
half
generous?
hours. Yeah.
Then you guys are getting 2 hours per week.
Hey, man. I guess we just have a lot to say about things.
I think it also has to do with the recording time. I think, pardon me, but I think the closer it gets to real nigga hours,
Late in it,
the
like
more
late at night,
the more we're willing to
we're
like talk.
prone to rambling. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
So if we might have a social experiment to see if like we record in the morning or in the middle of the day, we'll just be more like on point.
Right. Although,
But
yeah.
mhm.
No, I don't think we rambled, but we did talk a lot.
Yes, we did. I feel
We
like
went on to make a story
true.
when we didn't even plan
People
for it. I mean, what
people
the?
are listening. Oh, you guys who are listening, this is great. Like that's probably one of the coolest moments.
I am so ready, dude. If we really make
I
this a
want that to
thing,
be animated.
we need to make it a thing.
Well, okay, so I'll officially sign off. Hey guys, thank you for listening. We're probably gonna make that a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that might be a stretch goal to get that funded, and we actually like go in on making a comic for that because that is actually genius.
We could always just do it and then put it up on Kickstarter or something.
Yeah, but I sort of want the people to like feel like they participated. But it's whatever. We'll talk about it later. All right, guys. It's been Clueless Critics. Don't stay clueless.
Yeah.
Good night.
Night, guys.